Hello everyone. Today we have general revision on Unit 8 grammar, and in Unit 8 we have past passive forms. And this presentation or video was presented by Mr. Yasser Eed. Let's begin. Hello everyone, everywhere. You and I can work together to reach your goal, to revise English not only easily but in an interesting way as well. Okay, today's main points, we have some points will come across today. Let's see them together without speaking. So today we have 17 points we'll talk about. Let's begin with past passive forms. Past simple passive, a verb to be in the past, was or were, and in the negative was or were not, plus past participle. الماضي البسيط في المجهول بنستخدم مع verb to be في الماضي اللي هو بيتكون من was أو were وباست participle وتصريف ثالث، وإذا كان في negative إذا كان في نفي بيستخدم بعد was or were not. Example: The government built new hospitals in the countryside last year. What is the verb here? Built is the past of build. So we have past simple tense here, active. If I want to make it passive, we'll begin with the word, the object that comes after the verb, new hospitals. So we'll say new hospitals, plural. So we'll say were built in the countryside last year. بدأنا بالمفعول اللي هو بعد built new hospitals، والنيو hospitals ديت plural جمع، عشان كده استخدمنا were وباست participle من built هي built، وكملنا الجملة in the countryside. الكلام ده happened last year السنة الماضية. And past continuous passive was or were, a being and past participle, and if we have negative we'll use was or were not, being plus past participle. Example: My mother was cleaning the house when I arrived. The verb of the past continuous was cleaning. So what word will I begin with? The house, the object, the house. So the house is singular, so the house was being, and past participle of cleaning is cleaned, and they'll continue when I arrived. استخدمنا الماضي المستمر المبني المجهول اللي هو عبارة عن was أو were وbeing و past participle. بدأنا بالسبجكت اللي هو في الجملة اللي هو the house، و the house ده singular، خدنا was being و past participle when you cleaned, and we continue the sentence. كملنا الجملة عادي. Present perfect passive have or has been or been plus past participle. مضارع تام في المجهول عبارة عن have مع الجمع، has مع المفرد، وbeen وpast participle تصريف ثالث. إذا كان عندي negative هيبقى بقى عندي بعد have or has not, then been plus past participle. Example: Actors have used the hotel in many famous films. The verb have used. Which tense? Present perfect active. What is the object? The hotel. So I begin with the hotel. The hotel is singular. Can I use have or has? Right, has. And then has been used in many famous films. مضارع تام في المجهول. في المعلوم الأول شفناه إن هو have used have past participle. في الباسيف عشان كان عندي the hotel مفرد استخدمنا has been وخدنا past participle of used هي used وكملنا الجملة in many famous films. Okay. Past perfect passive. Past perfect passive had and been and past participle. Had been past participle or had been past participle. And in the negative hadn't been past participle. الماضي التام في المجهول عبارة عن had أو نفيها hadn't و been أو been و past participle. Example: Mother hadn't made the bread when we went to bed. Where is the verb here? Hadn't made. What tense? Past perfect, active, ماضي تام معلوم. If I begin with the bread is the object, so I'll make the sentence passive. So the bread had not or hadn't been made when we went to bed. So the bread hadn't been made when we went to bed. In case of two objects in a sentence, لو أنا عندي two objects مفعولين, begin with any one of them but use a preposition for in case of direct object. لو أنا عندي direct object مفعول مباشر أستخدم for معنى. Example: She made me a cup of coffee. I have two objects here, me and a cup of coffee. If I begin with I, so the passive of made was made a cup of coffee. So I was made a cup of coffee is the passive of she made me a cup of coffee. Can I begin with a cup of coffee? Yes. A cup of coffee, and the passive of made was made for me. A cup of coffee was made for me. Okay. Next. Use for with these verbs. استخدم for بمزاجي ولا في قاعدة ماشية عليها؟ في verbs لازم استخدم معاهم for. Okay. Buy, build, find, order, make, leave, save, get, keep. Example: I bought Ahmed a bike. And in the passive, Ahmed was bought a bike, or a bike was bought for Ahmed. Okay. Use to with these verbs: give, bring, lend, offer, path, both, read, sell, show, write, teach, ask to. Example: He sold me his old car. باع لي old car. I was sold his old car, or his old car was sold to me, because sell takes two. His old car was sold to me. عشان sell بيجي معاها to فاحنا استخدمنا was sold to. Make plus bare infinitive يعني infinitive without to من غير to. They made me sign the documents. خلوني أوقع المستندات. They made me sign the documents. في عندي made بيجي معاها bare infinitive يعني مصدر بدون to عشان كده استخدمنا sign. In the negative we use make to plus infinitive in the past. I was made, this is passive. to sign the documents. So when the verb in the passive, I use made to. When it's in the active, I use bare infinitive, means infinitive without to. Verbs that take to plus infinitive in the active, in the passive will be to be plus past participle. تصريف ثالث من الفعل. Example of these verbs: would like, ask, want; would love, demand, hope, expect. Example: she asked the manager to give her a pay rise. This is active. In the passive, she asked to be given a pay rise. So in the active, ask, to give, and in the passive, asked to be given. She asked to be given a pay rise. Another example: she wanted her father to take her to the theater. So in the active, want and to take. In the passive, she wanted to be taken to the theater. Wanted to be plus past participle. Okay. Verbs followed with gerund. When I say gerund, verb plus ing in the active. Use being plus past participle in the passive. These verbs take in the active verb plus ing or gerund, like, love, hate, remember. Enjoy, avoid, insist on. Example: she hates people telling her lies. She hates people telling her lies. In the passive, she hates being told lies by others. She hates being told lies by others. Note these verbs and what to do to change them into passive. Think, say, believe, know, and consider. Understand, claim, expect, allege, report. Suppose, fear, hope. With these verbs, I can use it, be, past participle of verb sentence 1 plus that the rest of the sentence. Example: people think that this building withstands earthquakes. This is active. In the passive form, I say it is thought that this building withstands earthquakes. It is thought that this building withstands earthquakes. يبقى استخدمنا ما كان فيها عند الجملة بدأ people think، بدأنا الجملة ب it's thought وكملنا الجملة عادي زي ما هي. Okay. Subject, sentence 2, then to be plus past participle of verb of first verb, and plus to and plus infinitive of second verb. Let's see example. People think that this building withstands earthquakes. We'll begin with this building. This building, and the passive of think is thought to withstand earthquakes. Again, this building, people think that. This is verb number 1, think. This building withstands earthquakes. This is verb number 2, withstands. I want to begin with Subject of sentence number 2, that's this building. This building is thought to withstand earthquakes. The police believe that she stole the documents. Police بيعتقد ان هي اللي سرقت الدوكيومنتس المستندات. She was believed to have stolen the document. So if there is a past simple active, in the passive I use to have and past participle. Investigators think that a fire broke out because of a cigarette end. In the passive, a fire is thought to have broken out because of a cigarette end. These verbs are always changed to passive in two ways. فعل ديت تتغير الباسيف بصيغتين: think, say and believe. Let's see more. People believe that she stole the documents. I can begin with it. So it is believed that she stole the documents, or it is believed that the documents were stolen. This is number 2. Or she is believed to have stolen the documents. So I have 3 methods. Number 1, I begin with it is believed that she, and number 2, I'll begin with it is believed that the documents, and the third one I'll begin with she is believed to have stolen the document. Okay? In case there is to be plus verb plus ing present continuous, follow these examples. I think she's making a plan. It is thought that she's making a plan. It is thought that a plan is being made. It is thought to be making a plan. In case of the past continuous tense, past continuous was or were or plus verb plus ing. Use this structure: to have been plus gerund, verb plus ing. I think he was making a plan. He is thought that he was making a plan, or he is thought to have been making a plan. Sentence number 2. Second sentence object, to be plus past participle of first verb, then to be, then past participle of second verb. Example: we know that he sells drugs. I'll begin with drugs. Drugs are known to be sold by him. Or sentence 2 object, to be plus past participle of first verb, to have, and then been plus past participle of second verb. Example: the newspaper reported that he forged the money and زور الفلوس. The money was reported to have been forged by him. The beginning subject of a passive sentence can be a sentence beginning with one of these words. ممكن الفاعل يكون أحد هذه الكلمات: when, what, how, why, how much, and how long. Example: we don't know why he left early. I'll begin with why he left early wasn't known. Wasn't known. Why did I use past simple here? Because left is the past of leave. عشان left ده التصريف التاني من leave. We'll check understanding with some questions. Please take care and try to think of the answer before it appears. Choose the correct answer. Radar space for the first time to help planes to land. radar was being used for the first time to help planes to land. radar non human غير عاقل، عشان كده نستخدم الباسيف. الفيرب الوحيد اللي في الباسيف was being used. There is a D missing here, should be was being used. Okay. Many science articles by Clark. Space in magazines before the war ended. I have before and past simple. عندي before و past simple. يبقى المفروض عندي is past perfect passive had been published. The science fiction stories were also spaced in the magazine. Yes, were published, were in the sentence, and here published past simple passive. There are now parts of a space that space after help. Have been named passive. By last summer, the new factory had been built. When father returned home, his dinner was being made. Photographs of the dark side of the moon in 1959 could be seen. New bridges spaced in Cairo recently. Have been built. When we arrived at the hotel, our room was being prepared. When past simple and past continuous passive. The computer spaced by the teacher yesterday. Was it checked? When we went into the hotel room, the beds hadn't been made. This funny photo of the internet is very popular. It spaced to hundreds of people. Has been sent. When we arrived at the theater, the actors were being photographed. This library book is very old. I think it by a lot of people. Has been read. He didn't want space by strangers. To be contact. He avoided space by the police. Being caught. He insisted on space by the manager. Being seen. He space the car for £10,000 last week. He sold this car. The bus spaced down yesterday. Broke down. تعطل. It space that there are no survivors on the crash. Despaired. She is thought to space from the dementia. Be suffered from dementia. Some of her stories based on her travel to some countries. Are based. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy my presentation, and wish you the best of luck, and thank you. Bye.